Hello and welcome to Allett Mowers, and thank you for buying an Allett Stirling 43 or 51 battery interchangeable cartridge mower. The purpose of this video is to get you prepared and ready to receive your mower and set up for mowing safely. When the mower arrives, please, before accepting, just check the outside of the carton that there's no obvious damage. If there is, just please ask the driver to wait while you open the box and just check that there's no damage internally to the machine. Please do not accept or sign for something that you're not happy with the way it's been delivered. Please consider the weight of the unit as well. So the Stirling 43 is 53 kilograms and the Stirling 51 is 57 kilograms. Also, if you have ordered additional cartridges as well, that will be extra weight just to consider. So just be prepared, you may need extra assistance to move the cartridge when it is delivered to you. The carton is made out of plywood. And we do have cardboard inserts in there as well, so depending on your location and the transport logistics involved in getting it to you, it may be a cardboard package that's also delivered. These packagings are recyclable, so you can take them to your local recycling centre, or if you can reuse them, then that's an opportunity there for you as well. Please do keep your packaging for a minimum of 14 days. And that way, if you are not 100% happy with the product, or if the worst that does happen and then you need to return it to us, then just please use that original packaging. So let's see what's inside the box. So firstly, we'll remove any retaining straps that are securing the outer casing to the lower pallet. Then we have our carton insert, which is securing our handlebars, and also our contents package. We have our grass collection unit, which we will assemble later. We can then lift our outer casing. We have our contents box for our battery and charger, if that's something that we have included within the purchase of the machine. And then we have our Stirling 43 or 51 mower. So we'll just have to cut the securing straps for the lower, securing it to the lower pallet. We can then remove the mower unit from the pallet. So let's go through the contents of our carton. So we should have our Stirling 43 or 51 mower unit. We also have our grass bag collection unit. If we have ordered the bundle, we should also have our box with containing our battery and also our charger. We have our literature pack, which will contain our auxiliary wheel kit with stub axles, a 4mm Allen key, a combination spanner just for making adjustments, our warranty card, which we will need to register online, our quick start guide, which will basically go through everything we're going through today. There is also a QR code on there, so you can access that video directly with your phone, and that will take you directly then to this video. It is a long video as well, but it is broken down into sections. So at the bottom of the video, you can basically click on each section, which will take you to each area of that demonstration. We also have our operator's manual, a cover plate which we will fit to the handlebars to our mower, and also 4 M6 by 50mm screws. And then finally we have our handlebars, which are secured to the cardboard insert. I'm now going to show you how to assemble the handlebars to the mower unit. It's best to do this with the machine and the handlebars lay flat on the ground. We've just got it on the table now just to show you a bit more visually how it goes together, but it is easier for yourself to do it on the floor. So we've got our mower unit, we've got our cover plate, our 4mm Allen key, and also the 4 M6 screws. Our handlebar, we can just remove that now from the cardboard section. So we just need to cut away the cable ties securing that. We can then lay that flat on the table alongside our machine. We'll notice now we've got a white connector, electrical connector, on the handlebar side, And then at the back of the machine we've also got another white connector which we will need to connect these both together. So we click those two together and we should hear that positive click, just so we know they're connected. And then what we need to do is basically lift the handlebars, which is going to go through this cutout here and then locate onto these two white blocks. But we need to just be careful of this cable, we need to feed that through as well. And there is also a ferrite on there which we'll basically just need to tuck underneath the cover just so that doesn't get trapped. So we'll feed the wire through first. As we do that, we'll follow that with the handlebar, and then as we're just pushing that forward, we can just feed that ferrite underneath the black cover and that'll just drop into position then. We then have our cover plate, which we will locate onto the back, and you'll be able to just see then where them holes locate. Then using our 4 screws, we can then locate them down. Then we can tighten those with our Allen key. So now we have our cover plate fitted, we can bring into position our handlebars. So we do that by using our quick adjuster lever. As you operate that and compress the spring, you'll notice that engages the pin on the lower side. So if we compress that, we can then lift our handlebars, and we notice we've got 4 operating positions. Once we're over one of them positions, we just release the lever and that will secure it into that position. We also have a storage position as well at the top location. So as well as the operating positions for the handlebars, we also have a telescopic adjustment. So we can adjust that by releasing these 2 green clamps. We are then able to raise our handlebars to another operating position, depending on comfort and user height. There are location holes, as you can see, on the tube, so we basically need to line that hole up with the centre of the green clamp. Once we've got that in line, we can just bring those clamps back in to secure that handlebar. So now we've unpacked our battery and charger from our packaging. Depending on what you have ordered, you will either have the standard charger or the rapid charger, or a 5 amp hour battery or a 10 amp hour battery. Please just familiarise yourself with the instructions just before using the battery and charger. So what we have, we will connect our charger to the adapter. You'll notice on the battery that there are connection ports which will locate onto the charger itself. There is 2 LEDs on there, a green and a red, which we will discuss. And then you'll notice there's a groove on the battery unit which will then locate onto the charger. So we basically just line those together. As we press those into position, that will just lock securely, ready for charging. So we connect the cable to our power supply, and then we should see a green flashing LED, which means our battery is currently in charge mode. Once that's fully charged, it will go to a solid green LED. So if you fully charge the initial charge to its maximum capacity, that will ensure that you get maximum life from that unit. There is no memory with these lithium-ion batteries, so that you can charge them at any point after that. So even if you've used them for half an hour and then you want to put them back onto charge, that's completely fine. You haven't got to fully deplete that battery before using it. So on the battery itself, there is also a power LED. So we press that button and that will illuminate then a series of LEDs just showing us what percentage of power we have in this battery unit. The Allett Stirling has an infinitely variable height of cut range between 10mm and 50mm for cutting grass. For sport surfaces or ornamental lawns, there is the option to cut lower with the optional 10 blade cartridge with the sports blade option. The Stirling is also available to be used with the cultivation cartridges, which are purchased separately, and those can be used with a cultivation depth of -14mm. So the change of height of cut we use is the HITE-RITE adjuster on the right hand side of the machine. You'll also notice your height of cut decal here, so we've got millimetres and also inches, and then on the bottom right we've also got our cultivation indicator. So as we rotate the HITE-RITE adjuster, clockwise we'll raise our height of cut, and then anti-clockwise we'll lower our height of cut, and then also lower with the cultivation cartridges into the ground engagement heights of cut. Just be careful when making height of cut adjustments. Just be mindful of the front rake that sits behind the front roller. We will talk about adjusting that in a moment, but as you adjust the height of cut, you may also need to just adjust that rake to suit. Also remember the third off rule, so whenever you're taking grass off, just remember you only want to be taking a third off the plant height at any one time. The Stirling is now fitted with a new and improved shore blade cylinder with a thicker and more rigid bottom blade or bed knife. That's quieter and easier to set. So now I'm going to show you how to set the cylinder to bottom blade contact in the Stirling mower. So we need to raise the handlebars into the storage position. Ensure that the battery is removed, and you can also remove the safety key, which is in the back of the power head unit. We can then lift our mower so we can get access to the bottom of the cylinder, and that mower will sit comfortably in that position as well. So we have a fixed bed knife bottom blade, and we have a cylinder between bearings which we can raise up and down to bring closer to the bottom blade edge or bed knife or further away. So we adjust that by adjuster screws on each side. Using a flat screwdriver, we can locate that into the screw, and then anti-clockwise we'll raise the cylinder cartridge, or clockwise we'll lower the cylinder against the bottom blade edge. So using a standard piece of paper, you want to tear that into an inch width strip, a standard 80 gram paper, writing paper, and then we want to position that between the bottom blade and the cylinder, or the bed knife and the reel, and then just rotating the cylinder by hand. Ideally we just want a nice clean scissor cut on each blade, and we want to be doing that all the way along the unit. So you can see we're just missing on that one edge, so I'll just do one more click onto there. If you are making a lot of adjustments as well, it's better to come off cut and then bring it down on cut, just to take off any backlash that's in the thread. What you don't want is any knocking between the cylinder blade and the bottom blade. If you are getting a knocking noise, basically that's going to increase the wear that's being put onto that cylinder or bottom blade edge, or you're going to create a lot of noise as well, which you don't want on this battery machine. We do recommend doing this on a regular basis as well, so it is good practice just to do the paper test, just to test your cylinder to bottom blade on a regular basis, part of your weekly maintenance. So an additional feature we have on the Stirling is behind the front roller we have our spring rake. The idea for the spring rake is to basically stand up all of our lateral growth, horizontal growth, just to get that standing up vertically, all the grass in the same direction before it goes through the cylinder, to give you more of a linear cut. So as we adjust our height of cut, we can also adjust the springtime rake. And we do that by each side of the comb assembly there is an M8 fixing. So with our spanner adjuster, we can just slacken off those two fixings. We can then raise and lower that rake as required. If you are using the cultivation cartridges as well, you may find it beneficial to remove the rake completely. You'll notice there is a cutout at the bottom of that chassis plate, and we can remove that whole assembly very easily. We also have a scraper bar for the front roller, just to keep that clean and free from any build-up. Again, that's factory set, but you can make adjustments to that if required. So there is an M6 fixing each side. If you just slacken those off, again with the adjustable spanner provided, you can then raise and lower that towards the front roller. So now we're going to connect our battery for operating. So basically we will locate the grooves of the battery into the grooves that are onto the mower. So very similar to the charging docking station. We locate that, and then we just want to give that a firm click into position, and then we are now ready for mowing. We also have the Ego isolation key, which is located just below the battery port. So it's a good idea when not using the machine, or if you are away from the mower at any time, just remove that isolation key, especially if you've got children or pets in the area, just in case they knock one of the buttons and then the mower will go into operating mode. So just isolate that when not near the mower. To remove the battery, there is a green switch which we need to bring up towards the battery, and that will release the battery, allowing us to slide from the unit. So we push that firmly into position, and then we release the green catch, allowing us to remove the battery. Other isolation features on the mower we have when it's in storage mode, which is in the highest operating position for the handlebar, we are unable to operate the mower, even with the battery and the isolation key in use. Also, the cylinder engagement lever, if that's in the release mode, we can't operate the machine, even if we are in the operating position for the handlebar. So if we're in operating position in the handles and the cartridge engagement lever isn't locked in position, we can't operate the machine. So we need that into the operating mode, and also the handles in operating mode to work the machine. So the Stirling mower is also equipped with a power indicator. So this is visual from the operating position, so it gives the operator a clear visual sign of what's going on with the machine when he's operating. So you will see a solid green LED when the mower is working properly. You will see a flashing green LED when the mower is at fault. And that means the handlebars are not in the correct position. So if they are in storage mode, or if the cartridge locking engagement is not in position, and you go to operate the cartridge, you'll get a green flashing LED. So if you get a green flashing LED, it's likely it's the handlebars or the cartridge is not secured correctly. If you're seeing a flashing red LED, that means the battery is depleted, and that will need to be removed and put on charge before proceeding. If you have a solid orange LED, that means the battery or the unit is overheated, and you'll need to leave the machine for about 15 minutes just to let that come back down to temperature before operating the machine again. For a flashing LED, that means the machine is overloading. So especially if you've got the cultivation cartridges, it may be an idea just to raise the height of cut and just do a little operation. Take less off rather than going in too deep. A red and a green flashing alternative LED means that there is a communication timeout, and that will require communication to Allett or Ego for their assistance. So both Stirling models have the Ultra Change system, which is the option to interchange the cartridge system with a complete range of cultivation cartridges. So very easily, less than 10 seconds, we can have this cartridge interchanged with a scarifier or a verticut, all ready for use. So we do that by just releasing the battery. We then have a Ultra Change lever here, so we compress the handle together. That will release and disengage our drive from the side. We have two over centre clamps, and then we can just lift that unit out of the mower. Okay then, so to install the cartridge, we're just to repeat that in reverse. So we align the cartridge. We've got a guide on this side. And then we've got the cutout in the chassis there where our pulley will locate. So we align that up, make sure it's inserted nice and square and level with the top. Then we close our 2 locking clamps and then just compress both levers on the locking lever here, and then we just bring that down just to tension and secure our drive system. And then we're now ready for mowing. Okay, so now we'll go through the controls on the Stirling. So we've got, for our cylinder engagement or the cartridge engagement, we've got a 2-stage operation. So we've got our operator presence button in the center, and then we bring in our front bail bar, which will then engage our drive. If we do that without engaging the operator presence, the drive won't work. So we need to press the button in and hold while bringing in the bail bar, and that will engage our drive. Once we release that, that drive will cut off. For the forward propel, we've got 2 buttons. We've got 1 on each side, which will operate the forward propel. We also have our rotor shift, which can adjust the forward speed. We can do that as we're traveling along as well. If we're walking along and we want to pick up the pace, we can just rotate the rotor shift and that will pick up or decrease our speed. We can also rotate that into the off position, and then we can also push the machine manually as well. So both the cylinder drive and the roller drive are driven independently. So if we are transferring from one lawn to the next, for example, we can just operate the forward propel without the cylinder engagement. So now we're going to look at assembling the grass bag. So we've got our components here out of the packaging. We've got our collection unit, which you'll notice is made of a mesh construction. The idea for this is so the air that's created via the cylinder, that air is expelled, allowing all the clippings to go to the back, rather than being an enclosed grass box, which can sometimes create like a cyclone effect in there. We've got our frame assembly, and we've got 2 crossbars. So with the handle facing downwards towards myself, we can then bring in these crossbars and just locate them into the slots on the frame. We can then bring that inside the collection unit. And what you'll notice around the opening as well, there are some plastic clips which basically just locate over the bars, just securing the frame to the actual collection unit. And that'll also take up the tension as well in the mesh material. Once you've done the outside ones, you'll also notice that to the back of the base there is also one inside there as well, just to secure that, that bottom crossbar. And that's our grass bag assembled. So now we've got our grass bag collection unit assembled. You'll notice there are 2 bar sections, and they need to locate over these cutouts on the chassis of the mower. So very simply, we just locate those bars into position, and then the grass bag will sit comfortably on the front of the mower. So when the time comes to service your Stirling mower, obviously there are a lot less components to service, so you haven't got your engine, your oil, your fuel, and the carburetor side, and also the spark plug. So you will see obviously a reduction there in the servicing side. What you do want to be doing annually is servicing your cylinder and bottom blade. So with the cartridge system, the beauty of it is you can just take your cartridge out and just take that along to your local Allett service centre, so you haven't got to transport the whole machine. So you want to be doing that annually to keep your mower performing well, but more importantly to keep your lawn cut really cleanly. If you are looking to do an in-season alternative for sharpening, you can also use a process called backlapping. We do have a video of this which is linked to this video. So you can basically now reverse the drive of the cylinder, and while applying a backlapping paste you can basically put a sharp edge back onto the cylinder and bottom blade. So at Allett we have our wonderful community of mower enthusiasts. We're really proud to have our Allett family on our social media sites, Facebook, Instagram. So please feel free to upload any videos or photos that you may have, and we'd love to see them, and so will our customers. We do have a lot of resources at Allett, so we have over 150 videos on our YouTube channel, and we really hope that this one has helped you to prepare for the arrival of your new mower and that you really enjoy a lot of years of trouble-free mowing. So you should have everything you need now, so all that you need to do is go and make your neighbours really jealous.